is Zadie and welcome to my channel, Flytte Kartina. Today we're going to be talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 5. There's a lot riding on this episode. Either it's going to be a lot of buildup or it's going to be a lot of tension. And this happens to do both. For those of you who don't know this already, spoiler warning because this is chock full of spoilers because of just the nature of this review. I'm just saying if you haven't seen the latest episode, then you probably should watch it before this video. Alright, so this episode is chock full of surprises, twists, turns, and some character development that I wasn't expecting. Maybe I was expecting it and just didn't know it, but let's just move on. I don't really want to do this sequentially, so let's just skip all the way to the very end of the episode where John Walker is that. Yeah, that. Let me just say that the entire buildup of the murder was, my heart was racing. I couldn't stop watching. It was so gripping and yet horrifying at the same time. And Wyatt Russell, who plays John Walker, fantastic actor in this. So there's a lot of fans who give a lot of hate to Wyatt Russell, the actor, the actual person, not the character, the actual person. They give a lot of hate, a lot of public hate towards this celebrity, this actor. Really, he's playing a character and he's playing it very well. So the fact that they're harassing this man, guys, if you're one of those people, please stop. He might not actually be like this in real life. That's the thing about acting, is you're lying in front of a camera. Sure, there's methods of acting that say to apply different parts of your personality to a character, but this character is not something that people would really relate to all the time, like especially the murdering part. So please, if you're one of those people who are harassing this man, please stop. He's doing a great job creatively. It's amazing. I really don't understand why this is happening, but moving on. The simplicity of the music score behind the murdering scene is amazing. There was nothing that I would have added or subtracted to this performance in general, and the devastation in his eyes, you can see the decision being made in his mind as he's looking at his partner Battlestar. And as soon as that man appeared, as soon as Battlestar appeared on the screen, I was like, this guy is going to die. It's just going to happen. There's no way around this. He's just going to die, and that's it. But let's talk about the actual storyline and the plot of this episode, where we're talking about supremacy and the handling of power. This episode is all about the abuse or the struggle of power and supremacy between both John Walker and Karli Morgenthau. There are two sides to applying this. Two sides of the wrong side of the coin. Whereas Sam and Bucky are on the other side of the coin, where they are two sides of the right side of the coin, maybe? Or they're making it right at that point, especially for Bucky and the Winter Soldier's character. And then Baron Zemo is kind of like this really unhappy medium between the two. He's the right edge of the coin where it's the worst parts of both ends, and he's somehow the middle ground. And these two sides of the coin are like fighting against each other to try and do something, you know, something. So we're introduced to the blip in Spider-Man Homecoming, and it really gives you a comedic look on this happening, the snap of Thanos, but this show, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, is taking a more brutal and adult way of handling this thing. This is the episode that made me realize that this show is not for kids. Meaning like teenagers and people just wanting to have fun and see their favorite characters fight on screen. That's not what this show is for. This show is more for adults and people with life experiences that have hardened them or made them emotionless to the world. Not saying that I'm one of those people, but I might be. This show is just jam-packed full of very mature themes and just different concepts that they're trying to apply to these different characters and help us to relate to the show as a whole. So we have Sam, who has a lot of racial injustice and how he deals with that while also simultaneously being a superhero. And then we have Bucky, who is trying to right the wrongs that he's been making, but he's doing them in a weird way, in his own way. Then you have the whole power struggle with everything between John Walker and Karli Morgenthau, and just the difference of super soldiers being in existence again. This episode we focused a little bit more on Bucky's side of things. Last episode we focused more on Sam's side of things. This episode is more on Bucky's, in the sense that we see a little bit into his time in Wakanda. We see the rebirth of the Winter Soldier. Gone are the days where he is enslaved by code words, and now he is free to think how he wants to and think and act. So there's a lot of that going on there, where it's an internal power struggle, and the people who helped him overcome that struggle actually built in a failsafe in case he decides to go against them in any sort of way. This can really, really mess you up in the mind. Like, the people who helped you also helped not make you able to help other people or fight other people that are trying to be helping. It's like this weird thing. There's this whole scene with the Dora Milaje in the room. It's hilarious. I love this scene so much. The action in this is fantastic. There's the whole scene with Bucky and one of the Dora Milaje, and they are fighting, and then she deactivates his arm and it falls off of his body, and it just, you see the look on his face and the utter betrayal. He's free from control, and now there's a way for this arm to come off of him. We haven't seen Bucky actually release this arm in any sort of movie or media, in anything at least that I've seen. So the fact that his arm can actually be disabled and become a moot point is very terrifying. It's in the same strain as if Iron Man had suddenly lost control of one of his Iron Man suits, which has happened, but while he's in it, and it's just like the helplessness that he feels. So that's Bucky's side of thing, but we're also seeing a combination, a lining of plots develop where the overlap is the Dora Milaje. So the Dora Milaje are being introduced to John Walker, and John Walker's like, oh, these guys, whatever. Not a lot of people have publicly seen the Dora Milaje fight. So the interaction with John Walker and the Dora Milaje, it's kind of like the combination of things. So Bucky's side of things is that reminds him of his time in Wakanda and all of the, you know, the trust that he built up with them, the betrayal that he's going to occur. So that is the combination of Bucky's past trauma coming to the present. And then it also intercollides with Sam's racial injustices that he's been facing this entire series, like the entire series. I'm not saying that John Walker is racist. I'm not saying that he is, but there's just little things that happen where he inferiorizes, is that even a word? He makes the Dora Milaje feel inferior by calling their weapons pointy sticks. Clearly these women are more powerful and you're just trying to make yourself feel better by undermining them, which is never a good move, especially when the Dora Milaje are concerned. And he gets absolutely owned by these women. They're so cool. I love this fight scene. But like seeing the Dora in combat again, it was like, oh, so good. And so the racial injustice, he's like making them feel inferior because I don't know if it's because of their skin color or it's because they're women. I don't know what it is. I really couldn't tell you, but he's just making them feel inferior, calling their weapons pointy sticks, and then like trying to get the upper hand on them by taking it easy and then realizing, oh my gosh, this is actually really hard. And yeah, it's just, yeah. All in all, this episode was very, very interesting, and the ending kind of had me going for a loop a little bit right there. I will miss Battlestar. And then at the end of this, Baron Zemo escapes, and it's just, wow. Wow, really? Baron Zemo is also not really doing that much in this episode. In the past few episodes, he hasn't been really doing very much, but that's his character. He's not like one of those upfront villains who's like, you know, combat heavy and everything. He's like a puppet master who takes on all of these different assets and uses them to his advantage. And his full plan, you only realize his full plan by the time that he fulfills it and at the end of it. So I'm curious to know what it is exactly that Baron Zemo is doing in this, and so that's why I'm really excited for the final episode and seeing how this whole thing is going to just finalize and be finished. I definitely think that they could have made this an 8-episode series, but the fact that it's 6 makes it even more interesting and very fascinating from a storytelling perspective. What did you guys think of the latest episode? Let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get up to 800 subscribers by the end of 2021, and so far we're doing okay. It's a general incline, but you know, whatever. If you like what I'm saying, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Like this video if you like what I said, and hit the bell notification icon so you are one of the first people to know when I upload a new video. What did you guys think of what I said? Anything ring a bell or like, you know, resonate with you, except for the murdering part? As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great random Thursday, and I will see you on the other side of the screen.